1950 in Victoria, New Zealand. He is the son of Alan Duff, a scientist. His mother is Maori, and her name is Hunau, and is the grandson of Oliver Duff, who is also a writer. He was raised in the state housing area in Victoria, New Zealand. Duff's parents were separated as he was sent to live with his uncle and aunt in Hawaii. Soon after that, he began to get into trouble and was expelled from Victoria's boys' school, and kept on running away from home, and he eventually ended up at a state ward at Hamilton's boys' home. Later, he lived with an uncle, an anthropologist, Roger Duff, and went back to school at Christchurch Boys High School. And at the age of 15, he was sentenced to term in the Wakira Borstal for assault and breaking and entering. For a time, he worked then as a sheet metal installer, and he sang in a band when he was not working. After being convicted for many misdemeanors, Duff went to London, where he said that this is where he messed up, but grew up. He then came back to New Zealand and began to write full-time in 1985. He tried writing a thriller as his first novel, but it was rejected several times. He burned the manuscript and started writing Once Were Warriors, which had an immediate and great impact on his writing career. It was the winner of the 10 Best First Book Award and was runner up in the Goodman Fielder Waddy Award, and was then made into an award-winning film in 1994. He also wrote many novels such as One Night Out Stealing and sequel to Once Were Warriors, which was What Becomes of a Broken Heart, and Jake's Long Shadow. He worked closely with underprivileged kids, encouraging them to read, and has been doing that ever since then, providing books and delivering around 5 million books to schools around New Zealand. Once Were Warriors. It is a story of a Maori family, the Hickeys, and portrays the trials and tribulations of what the family goes through with domestic violence. It starts off when Beth, the mother, leaves her small town where she is a prominent upper-class member of the Maori, and she marries Jake, the father, which is considered the lower class of the Maori, despite the disapproval of Beth's parents. 18 years after they leave their small community, they live in a slum and have 5 children. This is where their interpretations of life and being Maori are tested. Beth is from a traditional background, and she relates everything to the old ways, while Jake is an example of what the Maoris have become. Beth tries to reform herself and her family by giving up drinking and saving money wherever she could instead of spending it on alcohol, but she finds it easier to drink and be irresponsible. Jake is unemployed and spends most of his time getting drunk at the local bar with his friends. There he feels like he belongs because he is in his element. He likes to be the person of importance and all-around good guy buying drinks and so on. He often offers his house to go to party at, but as for him portraying himself as a good guy, he has a very vicious temper when drinking. He gets even worse when his wife confronts him, and he beats his wife in front of their friends. Neg is their oldest son, and he moves out of the house and joins a game. He cannot stand his father and feels that the game is a substitute for his family. He feels bad for leaving his siblings behind, but he thinks that he can never go back. The second oldest son, Mark Boogie, has been in and out of trouble and has been sent to juvenile facility, where he finds out about himself and his Maori heritage. Grace is the oldest daughter, and she loves to write stories and likes school. She studies hard and writes stories as an escape of everyday reality. She also makes friends with a homeless boy named Toot, who was thrown out of his parents' house because of his addiction to drugs. Grace tells him everything, and sometimes when they are partying at the house, she stays with Toot in his wrecked car. The story comes to a climax when a family friend rapes Grace. She tries to tell her mom, but her mom will not listen. She tells Toot what happened, and she doesn't know what else to do. She writes it down in her diary of being raped and who raped her. She then could not live with herself anymore and does not know what to do, and she commits suicide. Later, her mom finds her diary and finds out who raped her and tells her husband. He beats his friend badly, and Jake doesn't know what to do, and Beth straightens out her life and takes him to it and goes back to a traditional way of life because of Grace. And that's the whole end of the story. What I liked about the book was that it showed like different interpretations of how different cultures relate to life and all that stuff. So I really liked the book, so I would recommend reading it and stuff. But the only thing I didn't really like about it was that it was kind of vague in some areas, but overall it was a good book to read, and I would recommend it. And you can find the book on Amazon.com, and you can just paperback and hardcover. So just look it up on Amazon.com and you